I've been born ready.
Good. We got that on tape.
Oh, really?
Yeah, good job, Justin. All right, here we go. So,
Hello.
again, hey, say I'm Brandon. This is Justin, our world famous dungeon master, and we are here today to level up one of the characters that we have created, my human wizard. And we had actually done, we did our first D&D session out at Military Gamer Supply this past Saturday. If you didn't find it on our YouTube channel, that's because YouTube was being a pain in the butt, and it wouldn't let me log in. So we've got that fixed, so the next time it will be on our YouTube channel. It ended up on our Facebook page, but it also ended up on the Do You Even Strategy Bro Twitch page.
Yes.
So
that you can find through the Military Gamer Supply website.
So there's going to be all kinds of different ways that you're able to kind of see the different aspects or different ways that it's streaming. You'll have our YouTube channel and then the Twitch channel for Military Gamer Supply as well. So really quick, let's kind of go through the storyline first. Give a quick recap of what happened in our first meeting or in our first really quest with this group of ragtag kids, where you have Bonar Growrod, Zaisu Dorobo, who is now going by James, and Hesfina Patches Paplomovus, and Bosco Bar. So based here in El Paso.
Yes.
This is all came from the warped mind of Justin here,
a little bit
of what went on. And give a really, really quick synopsis kind of as the story up until this point. Where did we start?
Okay, so we are doing our fantasy realm, which we are calling Concordia, which of course is this sort of fantasy overlay of our border region. And our heroes were investigating a number of leads. This is an area where adventurers come to prove their worth, because a lot of weird stuff happens in the area. And
where do we start out at?
We started out at the Pershing Inn.
At the Pershing Inn. So right out of the gate, Justin's already tossing in some local references
here.
The
Pershing Inn, which is a nice gathering place for adventurers. And they investigated a couple of leads, a security job, some missing persons issues that they were investigating when they were come upon by a man named Soggy Britches, a goblin who is a minion of the nefarious Buzz of the KLAQ.
Yes. So Buzz making an appearance right out of the gate, and Justin incorporating a lot of real life stuff directly into the game. And so what was really, I mean, if you think about it, other than kind of searching out some of those other things that we were doing, this was truly our first mission as a group. So what was our first mission?
First mission, you were sort of extorted by Soggy Britches and his minions from the KLAQ to locate Buzz's missing teeth. Apparently his teeth had gone missing, and so through some hard investigation and poor rolls, the party managed to discover Wizbone's fabulous mechanical constructs. This gnome inventor, magical inventor,
who had created this bike that Buzz had crashed on that knocked his teeth out. And when they had gone back, the teeth were gone. So we were trying to find the teeth, going to Wizbone. And what did Wizbone sound like?
He sounded a lot like Wallace Shawn from The Princess Bride.
Which is inconceivable, right? That's inconceivable. Well, you're supposed to do it in the voice, Justin. Jesus, what are you doing, man? You're killing me.
Because it's totally inconceivable. What would happen?
This is what you're missing out on if you're not watching the stream.
So they came and they investigated and they interrupted his work. But it was all part of his plan for revenge, and they ruined it to these adventurers. So they tracked down Wizbone, and they did battle with this sort of strange animatronic golem that he had reconstructed from the leftover bits of an old abandoned Chuck E. Cheese on Sunland Park.
It was basically the Chucky robot.
It was the Chucky robot from Sunland Park, Chuck E. Cheese.
Or we ended up calling it Chucky.
Chucky. It was Chucky. So he redid this animatronic, and he fitted it with a giant buzzsaw. And Buzz's missing teeth, were affixed to this dilapidated mouse costume over this mechanical construct. So they did battle with this thing. Wizbone did escape, however. They were
that son of a bitch.
He went into the sky. He went into the sky tubes, and they were unafraid and they were unable and unwilling to follow him into the sky.
Yeah,
tubes.
we cut. Well, because so what happened during this whole part of the storyline was that we had some incredibly terrible
Yes.
Terrible rolls. I think I rolled a 2 on a 20-sided die.
Like 3 times in a row.
At least. I
turns
think
in a row.
it might have been even more. And so we were licking our wounds after this battle. We got beat up pretty bad.
Bonar got
Bonar almost died. So it got to the point where we were kind of like, okay, we really need to let's just take our beating and let's get the hell out of here.
Take Buzz's teeth.
Which kind of we got what we came for, which was the teeth, and we just let Wizbone go. But if we ever see that fucker again, I'm telling you right now.
Oh, and you definitely will. He has a Wizbone to pick with the rest of you.
There you go. So the next thing. So my next question then. So this was. I'm still learning the game. This is only my 3rd time ever doing it, and to me when I'm like replaying everything in my mind. Is it normal for people to be like, oh, I should have done this in the game, or I should have done this? Like you're thinking back to the actions of what you did, and you're like, okay, well, I need to better prepare for next time, or I need to do something differently. And what it seemed like I did wrong was in that battle, you have your spells, and then you have your cantrips.
Mm-hmm.
The cantrips you can use over and over and over again. The spells you only have 2, so you can only
rest,
cast
per long rest,
2 per rest. So for me, in my brain, I'm like, well, I got to save this stuff because that's really my only mode of attack. I mean, I can do other things, but that's how I'm going to deal the most damage. And so in my brain, I'm like, okay, and this is where the bad rolls came in because it got to the point where I was rolling and it wasn't even hitting anything.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even like I'm hitting
Fireworks.
And it's like a low hit. It's a complete miss. So I guess the biggest thing is what I was thinking is, okay, I don't know what Justin has planned here. I do know that we have this robotic Chuki ogre thing that's attacking us. But for all I know, there's something hiding over here. There's something hiding over here. And I need to be on the ready. And I want to save all of my stuff. Is that a good strategy? Or is that generally play as a poor strategy? Because right after that, we went and rested anyway. And it would have gained one of the spells back.
Yes, with your arcane recovery. So it's resource management at its core. Like, you don't want to blow your wad too early.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be like, oh, shoot this and then shoot this, right?
And then you have nothing. So like, it's not a poor strategy.
But I could have used one at some point.
You probably could have used a spell during that battle, which no one would fault you for.
Well, because when
you didn't know, so like. So, I mean, there's a balance, and you'll get more and more used to knowing, like, no one can fault you for saving your resources. Because if something else did come, and, Bonar's already super injured, Caspina's already out of spells,
somebody's got to have something in the tank.
Yeah, someone has to have something in the tank. So
okay.
They can't really fault you for that.
For me, and now after the game was over, I'm like, I'm going to be that guy that never uses a spell. Like, it's going to be one of those things where I'm always going to be like, just in case. Just in case. I'm that over planner, like neurotic guy who's like, well, just in case I want to save these spells. Well, everybody else is getting the shit kicked out of them. I'm like, well, we don't know what's going to come around door number 2. So, but like you're saying, like that's something that will come with time as we
come as you get used to it,
play the game,
the narrative, and then I mean, there's some metagaming involved in that too as well. Where if you're like, oh well, we've already been playing for an hour and a half, we probably won't have too much after this.
Mm-hmm.
You can totally like kind of cheat like that, but
so after that, so we won the battle, we licked our wounds, we ended up getting out of there, and then we ended up going to
the carnival.
Back to the carnival. The carnival was actually where we started. That's where we ran into Soggy Britches, and one of Soggy Britches' cronies. It was a what bear?
He was a bugbear.
A bugbear,
which are these large hulking humanoid figures, super long arms. They tend to be really tough. They go in packs. They are under the employ of one Buzz from the KLAQ. They are members of the KLAQ.
Well, one bugbear named Steve lost a dance-off to Bonar.
He did. He lost a breakdance battle to Bonar. That is one of their go-to moves, I've discovered, is the dance battle.
I have no problem.
They practice a lot of dance routines. Their thriller routine is pretty good, your team. They have a good thriller choreographed dance routine.
So we ended up back at the carnival, and one of the main storylines, the one that we're going to be running into, is that we did get signed up to hold security for this gala that they're going to be having at the end of this week, and then another one was there's all these missing children. There's a billboard that had all these missing children posters, and they're just stacked on top of each other. So we grabbed a couple from the top that had just been posted, and we were in search of these kids. and the way we wrapped up the episode was this ghostly figure had kind of shown up and reached out, and we found out that this is where the one kid ended up going with, is it went with this ghostly figure off, and with this kid. And as we wrapped things up, we saw the ghostly figure, and I believe we scared it away. Or what ended up happening at the very end?
So what ended up happening was the carnival employee that had witnessed it began to witness it again.
Yes.
And James was really trying to see this thing, and so James ended up seeing the creature as well.
Mm-hmm.
So this ghostly apparition that was beckoning the carnival worker towards it, and he managed to save the carnival worker from going with it by pushing him out of the way.
Yeah, we basically tackled the guy.
His hair had turned white as a result of this encounter, and so you guys are planning on visiting the Dwarven University, the Magic University, home of the miners, and you're going to do some research on ghosts and spirits before trying to figure out where this thing was coming from.
And that's where we wrapped up our first episode,
segue into
The Way It Is, which is the name of the episode.
The title, yeah.
And in case you didn't know, we're going to be naming every single episode after either a Bruce Hornsby song or a Christopher Cross song. So that's a kind of synopsis of what happened in our first episode. Mm-hmm. We'll have another one. We're still trying to figure out our schedules. When we'll be able to do it. So it'll probably, my guess is at this point it's going to be on a weeknight. At least that's my guess.
That's my guess as well.
So then the next thing that we were going to do, something you talked about, is we're ready to level up.
Yeah, so we get more and more powerful, and so this whole level up mechanic that you get from video games as your characters, like the earn experience points. This all started with Dungeons and Dragons. They're the first game to ever do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to level up the team because their team gained enough experience to level up. They are at their 300 experience points for their first adventure.
So how are the experience points like is that something the Dungeon Master comes up with?
So the Dungeon Master does this. So you have monsters in your monster book, and so there's a formula for it. So the monsters have a challenge rating, and then you take that by the number of players, and then you dish out experience that way.
Mm-hmm.
You also give bonus points for role playing. You also usually give some rewards for completing adventures.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all sorts of different ways.
Like getting Buzz's teeth back.
So you guys completed your adventure, you had your encounter. So we're putting you at your 300 experience points, which is enough to hit level 2. So at level 2, Boz is going to get a bunch of stuff. Everyone's going to get a bunch of stuff, but we're going to focus on Boz Gobar, the Death Goat himself. So as a wizard, one of the coolest things about leveling up is you're going to get more hit points.
Okay.
We're making you tougher. So there's 2 ways we can do this. You can roll a 6-sided die and add your Constitution modifier, or you can take the average on a 6-sided die. Roll the average plus 1 plus your Constitution modifier.
Okay, so we don't have die, so
they're in the con. So we can just do a straight up 4 plus your Constitution modifier, which is 1.
Okay.
So you're going to get 5 more hit points. So
all right.
Go up to 12. So you almost doubled your hit point pool by raising 1.
Works for me, because that was the interesting thing when we got into that battle and some of these people were taking some damage. Obviously, Bonar having
a bunch of hit points.
Some of the most hit points, which I believe he starts with 15, whereas Boz Gobar start with 7.
Yes.
So obviously, Bonar could take significantly more damage.
He has a big sack of hit points. And a big sack of other things.
From the chat, we got a question. Are we using 5th edition? I believe yes.
Of course we're using 5th edition. Yes,
why would we not be?
We're using the newest. 5th edition is the easiest to grok, to use a nerd phrase. So it's the easiest to understand.
Okay.
It's definitely more streamlined than earlier editions. It's definitely more streamlined and I think more accessible to newer players than Pathfinder would be. Which are other role-playing systems. So yeah, we're totally doing 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, which is a lot easier to grasp mechanics-wise.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, I think it's a lot more elegant. I've been playing since 1st edition AD&D, so I've played through a lot of them.
Okay, so we've increased the hit points. What's next for leveling up?
So there's a cool little chart in your book. It tells you all the cool things you get
at next level.
So your proficiency bonus stays the same. It's still at a +2. But you're going to get your Arcane Tradition, which we'll go into, and you're going to get to pick another spell slot. So you get to cast 3 first levels a day instead of just 2.
Okay.
The cool thing about that is every time you level up as a wizard, you're going to get to add to your spell book. So when you level up, you're going to get to add 2 wizard spells of your choice for free on the
Okay.
level you can cast. So since you can cast first level spells, you're going to get to pick 2 new first levels that you were interested in that you didn't get.
Okay, so
currently what are the ones you have?
here are the 6 spells that I picked. We had Mage Armor, Shield, Magic Missile, Thunder Wave, Alarm, and Fog Cloud. Those are the 6 spells that we selected before the game. So I get to pick 2 new ones.
New ones, which we might do after we get your Arcane Tradition, because
Works for me.
It's a fun list. It's kind of a long list. There's some really cool ones. I know there was other ones you were kind of interested in that you didn't pick before. That you picked. You're like, oh, am I going to get Fog Cloud, or am I going to get Detect Magic?
I could already see a couple, but we're not going to bore you in the video of us reading through everything that happens.
Because there are a lot of options. The coolest thing, however, is the Arcane Tradition. Now, Arcane Tradition, there are schools of magic. There are 8 different schools of magic, and they are basically the categories. There's Divination, which is like telling the future. There's Abjuration, which is defense. There's Evocation, which is kind of like all offense, like big, giant, fiery spells. There's Enchantment, which is like getting people, charming people, and beguiling people.
Kind of like mind control.
Yeah.
Almost like the Force mind control.
Conjuration, which is like summoning creatures and things. There's Illusion, creating illusions. There's Transmutation, which is taking one thing and turning it into something else. And then there's Necromancy, which is
raising the dead.
Magic of the dead. So you get to focus on one of these schools. That means you still have access to other schools, but you get different benefits based on focusing on your Arcane Tradition. So Abjuration, that's the defensive one. What that does is that gets you, makes it easier for you to learn Abjuration spells in your spellbook. And so, like, if you find stuff, it's easier to copy them down when you find spells as part of a reward. And then you get this defensive shield that you can bring into existence that absorbs hit point damage.
Okay.
So that's like the main benefit you get when you pick this up. So, like, it's
is the shield considered a spell you can only use once, or is that something you can kind of...
When you cast a spell, the shield comes into existence, and it exists until it gets dissipated.
Okay.
It's like metagaming. It's a little hard. There's not a ton of Abjuration spells at first level, but like Mage Armor is one, Shield is one, and that's pretty much it for a while as far as like Abjuration specific spells. So it's a cool treat to go down. Divination is a really cool one. That's knowing the future. That gives you like extra. You get this thing called Portent, where at the beginning of each day you roll 2 20-sided dice, and then you just
with my luck it would roll a 4 total.
So, but you get to switch out 2 rolls per day with those. So, like, say I roll a 15 and a 5. So you're dealing battle with one of the members of the KLAQ, and he rolls a natural 20 on you. You can be like, no, he rolled this 5 instead.
Oh, so you can just swap it.
Yeah. Or you're like, oh no, I rolled a 3, but hey, my Portent, I rolled a 15, so I'm going to swap it.
Okay.
So you get to do that. So
that's kind of cool.
It's a really cool ability. Like,
and with my crappy rolls, that might be
cool.
needed.
And that's like telling the future and stuff. And then you have Conjuration. Conjuration lets you like make inanimate objects out of nothing. So like you're like, oh, we really need a bucket. I have one.
Okay.
I have a bucket. I have like an actual functioning torch or a flashlight that lets you make stuff. Enchantment, you can hypnotize people with your gaze. It's kind of a really cool one. You can use your action and like force people to become hypnotized and like suggestion.
I kind of like that one. I'm not gonna lie. I'm leaning towards enchantment right now.
Evocation lets you sculpt your spells. So eventually you get these big so you have Thunder Wave, right?
Yeah.
So Thunder Wave, it's everything in front of you in like a cone, right?
So if one of my
guys is standing there,
they're gonna get hit.
Your spell around it.
This makes it so they won't.
Yes.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, Evocation's kind of cool if you're going to be dishing out high damage area of effect spells, like fireballs and stuff.
Okay.
Illusion, you get to your minor illusion gets more powerful, which you already know. Minor illusion is one of your cantrips.
No, I don't.
No, you don't. Oh,
no, I did not pick.
You were gonna pick that.
No, I think I picked Mage Hand instead.
Yeah. So
I kept thinking I did though, because I was like in all the different scenes we were going through on Saturday, I was trying to think of what can I do to like send like a rabbit, running somewhere to distract somebody, but I don't have it.
The improved minor illusion, however, gives you an audio and visual together.
Okay.
So instead of one or the other, like you can combine them both, and so it'll have an image and sound.
Okay.
And then eventually you can like start changing your illusions like on the fly to like, oh, someone hit the wall with a with an axe, all of a sudden you can make the axe mark appear in the wall and it's like changing and stuff. And then necromancy, you can steal hit points with stuff you kill from your spells.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of cool. So if you
That's
like get the
pretty
finishing
cool.
blow on something.
No, are those hit points temporary or are they permanent?
No, well, it's like healing magic. It's like
like if I was at a, I started at 12, I got knocked down to a 7, I can gain back 5. Like it's not like I can add.
Yeah, you're not going to get temporary.
Okay.
But yeah, as long as you're killing people, you can totally steal their hit points.
Ah, I like that.
Kind of creepy. And then you get, for transmutation, you get minor alchemy. So you can actually temporarily change the physical properties of one thing to another.
Mm-hmm.
So you can take like a copper coin and like turn it into a silver coin. And then leave, and then it'll
turn back into copper later.
Mm-hmm. So you can totally do
But if you have illusion, couldn't you just, go woo, and then like, hey.
And you can pull off the same thing. But this one, with an illusion, usually you can, by close interaction, you can tell it's fake. You know what I mean? Because it's like a hologram.
Yeah.
But with transmutation, it actually literally becomes the other thing for like an hour.
Interesting. Okay.
So, which one? So you seemed excited about evocation and about enchantment.
Yeah, I'm thinking evocation. That was the one where you can actually direct your spell.
Yeah, you can sculpt your damaging.
I'm thinking with our group, I want to go with
you're gonna
evocation.
Have. I mean, because Bonar is gonna run up.
Yeah, and so I want to make sure that if I'm sending in something heavy,
like a fireball or
I don't want them. I don't want them getting hit. I want them protected.
So. All right, so evocation. So that's pretty cool. All right, so your arcane tradition, you can write that under your skills and stuff, is going to be evocation.
Where's the skills and stuff? Features and traits?
Yeah, that's right.
So just write
arcane
evocation?
tradition, evocation. So you are an evocation savant. And you can sculpt spells, which is kind of cool.
Okay, so what else comes with evocation?
So that's it currently at 2nd level. So your next thing that you're going to get from evocation specialist is at level 6. So for your cantrips that deal damage that have saving throws, you can they're going to take damage no matter what. Like even if it's save for nothing, they're still going to only save for half. So it makes your cantrips a little more powered. But
I like that because I like using my cantrips apparently because that's all I did on Saturday.
But you'll get more. So that's it for now. Next level, you're going to get a 2nd level spell. On level 3.
Okay. Well, fancy pants. Look at that. Hot damn.
And that's it. Other than picking your spells, that's the bulk of your leveling up. So, of course, Bonar is going to get... what does he get to get? Oh, he gets Danger Sense and Reckless Attack, which is pretty cool, actually. So that's what he's going to get. Of course, more hit points as well. Our Cleric is going to get Channel Divinity, which is really, really powerful for a Cleric. He lets them, fight undead or... She's a life cleric. It lets her explode in healing energy to make sure that people stay alive. More 1st level spells. Our rogue is going to get, I think their sneak attack is a little better as well. Where are you? Everything but rogue is what I'm looking at.
There we go.
Oh, they get cunning action. Oh, cunning action is one of the coolest abilities for a rogue. That lets them do, run as a bonus action, or hide as a bonus, or disengage as a bonus. It's a super cool tactical ability.
I like that.
So everyone's going to level up. They're going to be a little more powerful as they're investigating the disappearing children. We will let you guys know as soon as we have an actual date for the game.
Yeah, and we're trying to do these about every 3 weeks or so, but obviously it's going to have to fluctuate because we're dealing with a whole lot of different people's schedules.
Yes, we're all grown-ups and we all work
and unfortunately we all have things going on that are going to take priority.
Yeah.
But no, we want to do this at least every 3 weeks, approximately right around there. The next one will most likely be a weekday.
Yeah,
what it sounds like.
Because we got Lion King coming up.
Yep.
Which a lot of people are going to apparently.
Twice.
We have Soldier Con at Fort Bliss, which is a car show / comic convention that the military gamer people are going to be running. So they're going to be unavailable on the 9th. And then there was something else the weekend after that.
There's a lot of stuff.
So
we'll get to all of that stuff. We'll have the leveled up characters, and next time we will have it on the KLAQ YouTube. Military Gamer, they'll have their Twitch account as well. And the cool things that we're doing with the stream is we're going to have different camera angles. We're hoping to have a lapel mic system for this next time. We use just a standard, mics on stands, which can work, but if we're moving around, it can be difficult to hear.
Yes.
But we're hopefully going to get. Yeah, Justin, the Dungeon Master, actually has to get up and to draw stuff. He actually drew out the Chuck E. Cheese, the layout of the Chuck E. Cheese where we had to battle Wizbone and his Chucky robot. So we have different angles. There's like an angle that will show the dice, and just a lot of different things. I know one of the things Brandon from Military Gamer Supply is working on. It's going to be really, really cool for people. Is he's going to do an overlay of
on Google
Maps,
yeah,
on Google Maps, so you'll be able to track. So based on the story that Justin's created and where we're going, they will be able to track. Like you'll see where we're at in the city. Like it's going to be super cool.
Yeah.
So
like they were at the fountain markets, which is like loosely based off the fountains around that area, where like people have outdoor stalls and it's like a bazaar. And then there was also like a Sunland market, which of course is like Sunland Park Mall, because these are like, if you're walking around El Paso, this is literally taking you like hours to walk. From,
it's not quick.
Sunland to the fountains, it would take you like 2.5, 3 hour walk or whatever. Like based on Google Maps. Yeah, it's like almost like 12 hours to walk across the city.
Yeah, so
give me a break.
It's it's going to be a ton of fun. We're looking forward to many more of these. Then they're only going to get better every time, because each time we're all looking at kind of like what we did the previous time. Okay, what can we change for the next time? Another thing is we're going to be looking to creating sound effects and stuff like that to kind of add to some of the experience for the viewer. But on that note, anything else, Justin?
You haven't seen the last of Wizbone.
I'm actually kind of glad that we didn't stick around, because I don't want to kill that character off. Like, that was the thing. I was pretty determined, and it took the other three to be like, no, dude, we need to get the hell out of here. We got the teeth. Let's go. And I was like, all right, fine. And now I'm glad we haven't killed off Wizbone, because otherwise, unless we go really like soap opera and Wizbone has a twin brother who sounds exactly like him,
which could happen.
Something.
It's that kind of game.
There's always possibilities like that. So
it's definitely fast and loose.
Wave goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. Bye.